Next up, we have the Lighthouse from the Splinter Cell Chaos Theory soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever you use, like the video, share a little comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server, join the Patreon, subscribe to the gaming channel, subscribe to the Reacts channel, how to request songs if you're not on the live stream members, getting early access to the content, I have a spiel for this and a bunch of other things that are on this video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video to read them in full. Otherwise, please be patient with me. I am acoustic and guitarded, so please keep that in mind. With that, let's do this. The Lighthouse, let's go. Okay, so we start with, what, 3 main components. We have that initial hit of a synth, mainly ambience there, giving us some texture. Then we have what sounds like a cello, the cello being the second largest of the viol family, the one that you need to sit down and lean against you to even play. And that one is giving us that initial rhythm, which could be our initial motif. Motif being the smallest version of a musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. We're having that. We're having a couple of other higher sounds here and there that could be other violins. We don't know, but what we do know is that this is some aleatoric music. And thank you for hanging out, Nosh. You have so yeah, go So yeah, go ahead, Nosh. Good to see you. Have a good day. So aleatoric music is a type of atonal music. Atonal music is music that lacks a tonal center. Usually, music that we hear is going to have some sort of home base, some sort of tonal center. Usually, you're going to be in a scale, which means you have a tonal center. Atonality means that you forego that in what you can call post-tonal theory. One of the schools of post-tonal music is aleatoric music. Aleatoric music is planned randomness, or random plans, basically. Basically, it's you are bringing in certain sounds that you wouldn't be able to fully recreate twice, but the point is not to recreate the sounds by themselves, it's to create the overall texture. So we are doing that over here, and yeah, like we're using this again for those of you who haven't played it, because Ubisoft butchered this, decided to just axe this incredible series stealth game. So this is for the purposes of texture. This is where music, something like atonal music, can really shine, when it's supposed to put you in a very tense situation. Let's see where this goes. Yeah, those high pitches we're getting over there, those sound like maybe violins doing harmonics. So a harmonic, harmonics usually refers to the harmonic series or the overtone series. Overtone series is the natural the natural resonances that every single sound has. And when you use harmonics, you are basically highlighting that. The way that this works is, imagine every sound that exists, every sound wave basically being a line. The bass note that the sound is going to have is going to be your fundamental tone. So if we take, for example, C over here, that means we're going to have C as our fundamental. If we then take this line, this audio wave, and we highlight the middle point, we would be getting another tone. We would be getting our first overtone, which would be C again. If we take the remaining space and then we divide that in half, we would be getting our next overtone, which would be G. If we go for another one, we would get C again. Then we would get D, I believe, then E, F sharp, and you just keep getting smaller and smaller things. So basically, whenever you have And you just keep going higher and higher. This is, for example, how overtone singing is done. When and in guitars and violins right now, what you do is that you take the string and you use the same distance as you would, and then you just lightly tap it, so you only partially mute it, and you get these very, very high sounds. For example, in overtone singing, that's one of the types of Mongolian throat singing that I can do. That's the fundamental. That is basically me highlighting using the muscles around the mouth and just highlighting different reverb, different points over here, the different resonances that you can have in the note to give us the overtone. So we're using that, but with way higher notes in the with the violins, what sounds to be violins over here, to give us those extra tones at the very, very top. Let's see where this goes. Oh, there's a bass. Oh, well, just like that, we bring a bass. Ooh, okay, so we bring in a bass guitar over here, giving us a bass line, potentially a riff. So a riff is a motif that is then played through an ostinato, that is then played on a guitar, bass, synth, whatever like contemporary band instruments you might have, and you end up with a riff. Motif, again, smallest version of a musical idea. Ostinato being when you repeat something over and over and over again with little to no variation, and then you end up with a riff. So it seems like, what's the instrument where you have to use your hands in the air? That is a theremin. That is a theremin that you're talking about. The instrument that you play by not touching it. That's the theremin. Yeah, that's a very, very different one. This one works with, I think, radio waves or like I always forget. It's some sort of waves that you then interrupt, like the antenna here, give different ones. So yeah. Anyway, zero goes. There you go. More electronic sounds. We have a triangle in the back. Very fascinating. So we are switching now. So we have the bass here giving us a tonal center, and it seems like we're doing both tonality and atonality at the same time. We have the bass here giving us a grounding home bass to focus on, and then we're having all the other aleatoric sounds completely filling up with texture. Very interesting approach. Very interesting approach, because usually when it comes to atonal music, you will have, it's either all atonal or all it's either all tonal or all atonal. It's very rare to see both done and getting away with it. Now, the reason why you can get away with this is because the bass is not something you hear as much as you feel. So let's see where it goes. The thumbnail. Oh, it's because it's Splinter Cell. Yeah, it's Splinter Cell. Anyway. Violins there with extra. Yeah, the three. Okay, so for those of you who haven't played Splinter Cell, you play as Sam Fisher, the best of the best infiltrator, and it's the trifocal goggles, basically your night vision and whatever else you might have that you use in the game. Like you can put them on, and it's got the three lights, and that's that. So yeah, no, it's such a fun series. It's such a fun, incredible stealth game, and like it was basically the response to Metal Gear, right? Because Metal Gear is tactical espionage, so that means it's action, it's movies, it's basically everything that Hollywood wants to make but can't. Kojima did, and Splinter Cell was like, okay, but let's actually make a stealth game. And they did, and they're great. Anyway, let's continue. Let's do this. Extra sounds. Second bass line sounds like a synth. Okay, the bass line is a little bit filtered out. We'll bring some over the aleatoric instruments. Aleatoric. And then we add in the back a like an organ, like a small church organ sample over here to give us some chords on top of that, slowly giving us more and more definition of everything, like slowly defining the sound and grounding us little by little. This is a really cool composition. I'm really enjoying this. Because again, when it comes to aleatoric music, usually you're gonna have the whole thing be one or the other. It's really cool to see this. Let's see where it goes. Some triangles, I think. Nice. Dynamic music. This could be dynamic music. Next section. Bass there with the new riff. Keyboard. Drums sparingly. Back to the drums there. Percussion. Aleatoric? Yes, aleatoric is like planned randomness. So all those random texture sounds we're getting, that's aleatoric music. So, man, yeah, it sounds like this could be dynamic music. When it comes to gaming has a very unique place in mediums, and that is including ideas like dynamic music, where depending on what is happening in the game is how many layers of music are present. So there are conditions that you can have that will determine which instrument is playing or which part of the loop is playing. That is something very unique to video games, that you can technically have every single player have a completely different soundtrack based on that, technically speaking. So yeah, we're having this, and I think we're getting like stages of intensity. Yeah, so several stages of intensity. So depending on how far you are, whether or not you're being you were spotted by enemies, something like that, you're gonna have different parts of the loop for this, which again is very useful for dynamic scoring, because then the composer only needs to make one long track, and then you just tell the software, okay, play from here to here, play from here to here, play from here to here. And if you get really fancy, you can be like, okay, if this happens, mute this layer. If this happens, unmute this layer. And you can just really, really get creative with this kind of stuff. Very difficult to do. This is a Ubisoft game back when they used to be a really, really good company. So yes, there was a time when Ubisoft was a really amazing game company, and Splinter Cell was one of those. So I'm leaning towards this might be just loop based, that they just made the loop and they have this, because this was for the Chaos Theory was for the original Xbox, right? Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. When did this one, or Unreal? Oh, Xbox 360. 2005. Right. 2005. Okay, so that game is 21 years old. Xbox 360. That is going to be early. It was OG Xbox. Microsoft Windows, see more. Not kurwa. Anyway, so yeah, 2005. Yeah, no, Xbox. I don't know why it says here Xbox 360, but yeah, in the original Xbox and PlayStation 2. So yeah, those would have very limited space. Very, very limited space to mess around with. So it makes sense that this could be like a single loop that then you just establish the different loop points. And then there's Xbox Green 2. Yeah, Xbox Green 2. Back when there was, back when the console wars were actually fun. And you know what else is actually fun? Kind of. The Patreon. Patreon.com/JamesRBasterd. If you want to support this channel more than you already are, consider joining the Patreon today. Even if you're not pledging any funds, do join the free tier at least, because this is where the non-gaming LFAs are going. What are those? Anime, film, TV, label music, the kind of stuff that we usually don't do on the main channel on YouTube. Why? What we do on YouTube is inherently fair use. That does not stop bad actors such as record labels, film studios, individual independent rats, scammers out there from abusing the copyright system on YouTube. So in order to just not deal with that for these LFAs, we're putting them here exclusively on Patreon, free for everyone to watch, with paid members, citizen tier and above, getting early access to the content. So If you want to support this channel more than you already are, consider joining the Patreon. Consider joining the Patreon today. Consider becoming a paid member today. You will get access either way. Patreon.com/JamesRBasterd. Linked in the description down below. Thank you to those who are already members, especially those who are paid members, particularly Real Nemesis, French Guy, Amaya, and Quebelco. Your support means the world to me. For everybody else, become a member today. Consider becoming a paid member today. Patreon.com/JamesRBasterd. Linked in the description down below. Patreon.com/JamesRBasterd. Become a member today. All right, back we go. We're having the next side of the loop. Let's see where it goes. Ooh. Second bass. No, it's the keyboard there. Little phrase. More of those aleatoric elements. Bringing the keyboard back with the chords. Bass is slower as well. Some percussion in the back. We're bringing some drums. Like a sonar kind of sound as well. Alright. It's really cool how it just filters through the noise. Let's see. Alright, next part. Okay, so we bring, it sounds like the alarm. It sounds like an alarm, like you've been spotted kind of thing. And we have the new bass coming in. It sounds like we have another sound, very, very aggressive one, that then gets displaced. Engaging in a little bit of rhythmic displacement. Rhythmic displacement, as the name suggests, is when you displace something in your rhythm, so you're either pushing something down so that it sounds later, rushing something up so that it sounds earlier, or you're using silence or some sort of interruption to achieve either of the two. In this case, we are just postponing the sound of the alarm to create a little bit more of a counter rhythm against the drums, against the bass. Sorry, let's see where it goes. Getting faster. A lot of other aleatoric elements in the back. Full drums, full bass. Damn. Very chaotic. Very chaotic. Yeah, this sounds like a firefight, like you're actually getting shot at in the game, kind of thing. It sounds like this is where you get this is where you're spotted and they're shooting at you. There you go, full bass, full drums. So it kind of like chord phase, yeah. Little break there. Why is it pronounced rhythmic and not rhymic? Or not rhythmic? Because it's English. I mean, it's English and it comes from, you know, the word ritmo. From ritmo. And ritmo is what we're having. If it was rima, which is rhyming, then that would be different. But it's ritmo, not rima. So, yeah. Nice. The drums are going insane with this, dude. It's awesome. And it's... Okay, there we go. The alarm is back. The bass there. And now we have an electronic... Okay, so all of these are synths. Right now, all of these are synths. Entirely synths. We swapped from the bass guitar to a bass synth. Let's see where it goes. Bass drum and bass and bass drums. Bass guitar and bass drums. Speeding up. Nice. Oh, we're getting some hits here and there. So this splintering, I know, right? Vivian, welcome to the Asperg. I'm saying hi earlier. How you doing? Man, and one of the interesting things over here is how the drums are kind of keeping the beat, but at the same time also playing against it. Like the drums are making sure that it is as chaotic as possible while still keeping the beat. Like the drum again, this is very aleatoric. That in that sense it sounds very aleatoric. Like it sounds very improvised. It sounds very improvised because it probably was. But the idea was to give a very specific kind of thing. Chaotic jazz? Kind of, yeah. Kind of. Okay. Nice. Switching up. Stopping and going, stopping and just throwing off. So yeah, at this point we are bringing everything up. We're having the drums completely flood the sound spectrum that we have. Um, it doesn't sound pleasant, but that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point. This is supposed to be for game scoring. Because when it comes to scoring, whether it's games, a film, radio, musical theater, the music is there as a secondary thing. You're not there to listen to the music, you're there to experience what is happening. And in a video game, when it comes to games and film and that kind of stuff, the music will then take secondary priority to what is happening on screen. So when something like this happens, using this kind of stuff, like very aleatoric music, very aggressive sound design, it can be used for the purposes of elevating what is happening, which is a very, very unique thing to these kinds of medium, especially in games with all the conditional stuff, right? So, and it's supposed to be when you're shut up. Yep. So this is when you are really, really having a bad time. So the music is reflecting that. And again, this is a very unique thing when it comes to scoring, right? Because in film, you can have some of these things, but in video games, it depends on what the player is doing. So the player has a lot more, in some ways, control over what is happening. So yeah, it kind of sounds like drum and bass. But it is still analog drums. Like, these are still physical drums and a physical bass guitar, and it does switch back and forth between a bass guitar and a bass synth, which fairly fascinating. Let's see where it goes. Ooh. And they're like violins holding up. They're having some extra chords up above. Oh, that's the alarm sound, yeah. We start to bring some of the aleatoric elements that we were having at the start. I don't know if the cello is there, but we're getting a lot of the elements that we were using in the introduction back over here. Nice. Alright, how's this gonna end? Alright, remove the drums. Back to the aleatoric stuff. Back to the cello. Maybe even the double bass. Violins with the aleatoric. We get one last run of everything, very, very quietly. Let everything die down. The sound dissipates, and there you have it. Mixing sounds like an upload from its era. It's not like a YouTube automated release. Yeah, like these are absolutely purpose-built for the game. Like many of the one of the things about stuff of its time is that they had to work around a lot of things, and one of the things that they had to work around a lot was that they didn't have much space. Like the Xbox had, I think, DVD ROMs. I think it had DVD ROMs, or maybe even late CD ROMs. Like, it didn't have that much space, so you had to compress a lot of the audio. So if you compress audio, that means you're going to lose a lot of the like nitty-gritty things, so you have to work around it. So many limitations usually help foster creativity, and right now we are seeing this because two, the speakers of CRT TVs, the PS do, then it must have used DVDs, then it probably used DVDs as well. Because I remember it was the PS3 that used Blu-ray. Xbox 360 wanted to use the HD DVDs, but Blu-ray won, right? So yeah, no, it's very compressed. For a YouTube release, it's not extremely compressed, because compressed audio, once you mix it this way, it will go through the shitty CRT TV speakers. CRT TVs were a product of their time as well. And this is from, we had early plasma TVs in the early 2000s. Like, it wasn't that common. It was more common for somebody to have a CRT TV. And CRT TVs didn't have that great audio. So as a way to get around this, to make sure that everybody could experience the audio, you mix things that way. You compress the audio, you save on space, and you end up with this. And with that, there you have it. Or is it a release of the track? Yeah, it is. It is. This is the official release. So yeah, that's just how it was mixed. This is just how it was made. And with that, there you have it. The Lighthouse from the Splinter Cell Chaos Theory soundtrack. That was really cool. That was really cool. Like, it's very, very cool to see post-tonal music done right. So yeah, there you have it. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here, musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever you use, like the video, share the comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server. That's where everything gets announced first, whether the stream's going live, the videos going up, the channels, updates, projects, giveaways, everything gets announced there first. We have the community there, we hang out, we chat, we steal memes from other people's servers, claim as our own, where I host the Vintage Story community server, that kind of stuff. Also, share these videos with everybody that you know. Use the hype function on YouTube. We have a group on the Discord that coordinates for that, so linked in the description to help the channel grow. Members get early access to the content as scheduled. The videos probably on Saturdays. And if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs. So become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I'll be linking in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment on this video. It has the instructions of what to do. If you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim from Monday through Friday. We stream live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick so that you can tune in from whichever platform you prefer. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone at both Discord and Twitch, both linked in the description. So, if you live in Baños, Colombia, and you're like, yeah, but what time, that's bathroom, right? And you're like, yeah, but what time is, whatever time it is in Hungary, I don't live there, do not worry, just go to Discord or Twitch, both linked in the description, and it's going to share the streaming schedule up to date in your local time zone, accounting for daylight savings if necessary. And subscribe to the gaming channel, follow the gaming channel, because of course I have a gaming channel, I'm on YouTube, what could I possibly have? Games are a bastard. It's where I put the gaming after show recordings when they happen. We play games on the later part of the stream, and then the VODs for every game we play live eventually end up over here. So subscribe to the channel, linked in the description, or search on YouTube, same username as James R. Basterd, swap the J for a G, and you got it. And subscribe to the Reacts channel. The LFAs are React format. This is where we are putting the Reacts for everything else. James Reacts Basterd. Subscribe to the channel, linked in the description, or search on YouTube, same username as James R. Basterd, swap the extend the R to Reacts, and you got it. And yeah, there you have it. The Lighthouse Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. That was fun, dude. That was fun. It's really good. I'm gonna have to boot up those games one of these days. Anyway, good stuff, man. Good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.